For today's cup of coffee, I have a fresh brewed cup of coffee.
Yes.
Made with the new coffee maker. I am so enjoying the coffee pod thing. I know they're expensive, but my God, they're simple.
And you can do the individual cups.
Yes, and you can have different flavors.
One at a time.
Yeah, and you can
without the hassle.
Like I said, you can do different flavors. I need to find something that is like a dark chocolate orange. A dark chocolate orange flavor is very hard to come by.
Browse the internet.
I might.
Seriously,
do that.
Do some web browsing.
Well, some of the flavored coffees, you still have to put some kind of, either heavy cream and sweetener and stuff in it before it to taste truly tasty.
See, that's when you use social media for the good. That's the good of social media, like TikTok and that. Not Twitter. Twitter isn't good for anything. It's pointless for that shit. Well, it's pointless for anything that I would want. That I want social media for. So,
That is not part of my realm. So I leave it. I really do. It's just like every generation have got things that is particular to them or peculiar to them.
Yeah.
And while I use internet and different things like that, this is like jargon. If you can't, of course, I was, as far as some of the phrases and stuff that we used or that people used in the 70s, I was still too young to do that. Mm-hmm. But as far as do I go into that 80s mode every now and then, absolutely. That's where occasionally you will hear the, oh my God,
oh my God.
Because that was one of those, that was typical 80s. Even when you are in very rural areas, it just, yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But
I have those isms, and I'm not a child of the 80s, but damn it, I consumed a lot of 80s media growing up.
You did.
And Elvira was one of my icons, and she was a huge 80s icon for me.
Absolutely. She really was. And it's like, you had a goth movement, but that's for another cup. But she was sort of representative of that.
She was.
And made it to where people's like, oh, they're not a bunch of devil worshippers. Now they've gone back to, they're a bunch of devil worshippers. It's like, whatever. But, that's the thing with going on social media for me. Other people don't feel that way. And we were talking about vernacular. You all have certain phrases that you use. I can't think of it right now.
Yeet.
No. Now, yeet is a word that I have.
Yeah, but that's a vernacular that my generation has come up.
Yeah, but there's other things. Yeet. And even as far as your brother's, since he's a millennial, that I don't. And even as far as knowing what yeet means, it's through you all. I don't think anybody minds me saying yeeted.
Dad minds me saying yeet and yeeted.
Why?
He gets offended when I say some of the modern slang.
Well,
but it's okay.
It is okay. And as far as relaxation,
I understand why, because
he's a boomer.
Well, yeah. And so is Nana.
Yeah.
So that's completely out of there. They don't get it. Like it's the same words, that same meaning behind similar words that they use, but
and the just relaxation as far as what used to be considered cuss words.
Yeah.
And so that sort of horrifies people that are older.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, and it's just like, I was telling Kid a little bit of show prep here. There are certain topics that we really can't go into detail with this story because we will get yeeted. Even when there's evidence, when there's research and stuff like that, there's still certain topics. I do not like to be censored. If I want to censor myself out of respect for another, that's one thing.
Censorship is something that is...
It's ridiculous. Oh, God. We won't even get it, because I could just go on a total rant on what's going on lately. I mean, my God, when you're rewriting books, including Shakespeare, Mm-hmm. Now, that shit needs to stop fast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It
really does.
We may start a cottage industry that produces torches and pitchforks.
Literally, Shakespeare was to teach people English.
It was brilliant because he had stuff that was for the royalty, but also for the common people.
It was for the common people.
Yeah.
It was for the common people. And they want to censor him.
Anyhow. I'm hoping,
come on!
That's all right, because the pendulum swings both ways. Anyhow, I do have some respect for this story. I really do. And that's why I was telling Kid that I'm not going to go into this with a ha-ha type of snarky-ass attitude.
And I'm not going to go into this with that either.
This comes from Daily Mail by Milo Pope, February the 18th of 2023. And it does have Japanese names and stuff, so if I misspeak, forgive me, because that is not my native language. I speak mountain. English is not my native language. We do our own thing. And
and some of the words are difficult to pronounce, so...
Well, I try to. I mean, it's phonetic. They're not really that hard to pronounce, but a lot of times as I read, I have to pause, and so it takes me a little bit longer, and then I start stumbling all over myself. That's what happens. Yes. A mummified mermaid.
For me, I sound like an ass.
A mummified mermaid that is worshipped in Japan has been exposed as a fabrication of cloth, paper, and cotton decorated with fish parts. The creature was allegedly caught in the Pacific Ocean off the Japanese island of Shikoku. See, I said this beforehand. Between 1736 and 1741, and is now kept in the temple city of Saku.
Huh.
I think that's close. Legend says it has the power to grant immortality, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was worshipped in a bid to ward off the virus. But scientists suspected it was really the tail end of a fish grafted onto the upper body of a primate and sent the artifact for CT scanning to reveal the truth. Mm-hmm. And that was something as far as the Fiji mermaids.
Yeah.
That it was usually a monkey that had been grafted onto a fishtail.
Yeah, and that was very common. That was like sideshows and all that.
Those went on for quite a while.
Yeah.
And Hiroshi, I can say that. Kinoshita of the Okayama. That's what it is. Folklore Society, I should have let you read those names, who conceived the study, said that the end results surprised them. He said, quote, "If you were to imagine it normally, you would think it was a combination of the lower body of a fish and the upper body of an ape. However, the survey results show that this is not the case. From what we now know, the lower half of the body is fish, but the upper half is not mammalian," end quote. Most of the upper body was actually made from cloth, paper, and cotton, though pufferfish skin was used on the arms, shoulders, neck, and cheeks. And we do have pictures of this little guy, and we'll insert one of those here. The creature's hair is mammalian in origin. Its nails were made.
Look at that weird little thing.
Its nails were made from animal keratin.
Look at that little thing.
And the jaws were taken from an unknown carnivorous fish. And we'll put I think on this next one you can see the teeth.
Carnivorous fish. Look at its face. Look at its face.
I mean, that's incredible.
It is cool.
It says no internal skeleton was detected, but there were metal needles in the back of the neck and lower body. The bottom half, meanwhile, was manufactured with scales from a croaker fish. Sand or charcoal powder mixed into a paste-like substance was used to paint the body surface. In the course of the study, the relic underwent X-ray imaging, CT scanning, fluorescent X-ray analysis, DNA analysis, and radiocarbon dating. Observation with optical and electron microscopes was also undertaken. And we'll show you another picture of the backside of the little guy here. It looks, you can tell that the backside of it,
looks a little wonky.
Look as authentic.
It looks wonky. It's obviously, yeah.
It does look a little more paper mache-ish.
It's obviously meant to be seen only from the front.
Yeah, I think so. And Kurosaki University of Science and Arts concluded that the creature was manufactured. Hiroshi said the artifact was likely created to cash in on the Japanese fascination with mermaids. He said, quote, "So much content was created, including stories, pictures, and legends. Mermaid mummies were probably made in various parts of Japan as a spectacle or for export to foreign countries," end quote. Announcing the study last year, Kinoshita described some of the religious significance of mermaids in Japan. He said, quote, "Japanese mermaids have a legend of immortality. It is said that if you eat the flesh of a mermaid, you will never die. There is a legend in many parts of Japan that a woman accidentally ate the flesh of a mermaid and lived for 800 years. Now, how do you accidentally do that?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Maybe it was just caught in a net or
Maybe.
something they didn't know.
Maybe they just got the, like, tail fin.
Maybe. And it says this Yao Bukini legend is also preserved near the temple where the mermaid mummy was found. I heard that some people, believing in the legend, used to eat the scales of mermaid mummies. There is also a legend that the mermaid predicted an infectious disease. And we'll show you one more picture of the little guy here. That one's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
But it gives you, as far as a look at the teeth, a little more. So
it does.
And it says that a historic letter dated to 1903, apparently penned by a former owner, was stored alongside the mummy and gives a story about its provenance. The letter states, quote, "A mermaid was caught in a fishing catching net off the sea of Kochi Prefecture."
Let me see that shit. Let me see that
English
shit.
words screw me up more than the Japanese one. The fisherman...
Kochi Prefecture.
Right. See, you did it like I did. The
Prefecture.
fisherman who caught it did not know it was a mermaid, but took it to Osaka
Prefecture.
and sold it as an unusual fish. My ancestors bought it and kept it there as a family treasure, quote. Nothing was found to corroborate this account, and it's unclear how or when the mummy came to Injuan Temple in Osaka. That's it.
Let me see that shit. Which one? Osaka.
No. Osaka-chi, I think is what it is.
Osakuchi.
And it says that
Osakuchi.
Kozan Kyuda, chief priest of the temple, said the mummy was put on display in a glass case some 40 years ago and had recently been stored in a fireproof safe. He told a Japanese newspaper last year, quote, "We have worshipped it, hoping that it would help alleviate the coronavirus pandemic, even if only slightly," end quote. Hiroshi has a theory as to how the mummy ended up at the temple. He said, quote, "What happened to the mummies that were left behind when they had finished their role as a spectacle? The mummies cannot be discarded because of Japanese feelings towards mermaids. So how did the owners cope? Mermaids were donated to temples and shrines. Mummies were carefully preserved in temples and shrines and passed on as treasures," end quote. Kinoshita initially suspected the artifact was manufactured at some point during the Edo period, an era of Japanese history stretching from 1603 to 1867. The new carbon study dated some of the detached scales to the late 1800s. So the scales probably could have been replenished. But interesting, and we'll show you the little guy in the box. Let's see which one. We'll show that again here.
I wouldn't mind having it.
Well, if you looked at
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
if you looked at this from a distance, it seems like at one point I did see a Fiji mermaid.
We saw Fiji Mermaid. We saw Fiji Mermaid.
Was that at Ripley's?
Yeah.
And
It was at something at one of those things. It was
right,
either
or
that-
at some sideshow or something.
Yeah.
And they're fascinating. They
They are.
truly are.
They're
And
so
it's,
cool.
You know,
I'm pretty
not-
sure it was at Ripley's though, because
There
they
probably
usually
was.
have a Fiji Mermaid and they always have a shrunken head.
They had some of the coolest things ever. They really did. And it's what a tragedy that the one in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, burned.
Yeah.
And so many things. We were talking about the other day that so many things from my childhood that they were treasures to me too.
Yeah.
You know, destroyed. But you can't fault these people or any people that have a belief in something. And that's why I did not want to do this. Hi, you didn't. No, I don't do that on anybody's belief system. Doesn't matter whether I agree with it, disagree with it. That's what they believe. So it's a matter of having honor for all peoples.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody's got something that they be doing, believing in, worshiping that's demonic on that side, now that I mean, sitting there going, you really might want to rethink that a minute.
Yeah.
But it's a cool story. We need myth. We need legend as human beings, and that is something that is another thing that's being stolen from us. The cult of science, which is usually not, has nothing to do. It has everything to do with power and control. It has nothing to do with scientific method.
No.
And to try to strip away any kind of creativity. Now that's scary.
Yeah.
That is truly scary. So, but as far as mermaids, I was thinking about this while I was making my cup of coffee. There have been quite a few sightings of UFOs in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we have no clue what all is in the ocean.
No, we don't.
You never know that, as far as if it was some kind of alien species that was in some kind of suit that let them survive in the ocean or whatever that people mistook for mermaids. There's all kinds of theories. And even somebody could take that idea and run with it and write a creepypasta or whatever. Which, what an honor that would be if somebody took some snippet that we had suggested and wrote something. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
I think that would be just
I think that would be
awesome.
really awesome.
Yeah. So, mermaids.
Mermaids. I like mermaids. I've always liked
You
mermaids.
always have liked
because I don't know. I'm a Pisces. I've just had a mermaid thing.
Of course.
I've had a mermaid thing since I was little. I like mermaids, all right. So I've always
Yeah. He always
on and
has.
off collected mermaids here and there.
Right.
So
Right. The original Little Mermaid story is not Disney.
oh
At
god, that
all.
one trauma. You gave me trauma.
No.
Childhood trauma.
I gave you reality.
That made me sad. That made me cry.
I guess what? There's a lot of parts in life that do the same thing.
I cried, but I will say it was beautiful.
It is.
It was beautiful.
It is.
But it made me cry.
But you got to realize, part of the moral of that story is don't try to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
And there are some things that it doesn't matter how pretty it looks or how handsome it looks, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't sell your soul.
Don't sell your soul.
So there you go. That's the part of you got to look for the underlying meanings of all these things.
Yeah.
I think it was Hans Christian Andersen.
I
He's
think
also the Ugly Duckling. That one was pitiful. I used to cry over that one. And the little matchstick girl. And oh my God, that one's heartbreaking.
Tragic.
It was. But it was also the reality of the world in which he lived. And you cannot...
Tragic.
You cannot judge other time periods by today.
No, you can't.
Those also are worthy of being honored as they were.
Mm-hmm.
And these people that think they've got it all figured out today, guess what? At some point, it's going to be revealed. It's like, oh, hell, we were the dumbasses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've been the dumbasses.
I was told, do not be a dumbass. The world has its quota.
You
So,
told me that too.
Yes. I passed down.
Yes.
I passed
you
that
passed
down.
that down.
Appalachian Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit of horse sense on that.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts on this Little Mermaid.
I mean, it's sad that it's fake. I mean, it is sad because so many people believed in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is honestly really heartbreaking that they were all basically scammed into believing,
Right.
Something. But at least they know now that
Sure.
it's fake, but still.
Well, and that's what we were discussing, and I am going to go there briefly. How many people have been scammed recently into believing the science?
Yeah.
That's more heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Believing in this Little Mermaid, I don't think hurt anyone.
I would rather believe in the mermaid than some of the science that's out there.
Yep. So,
But,
yeah. I'm going to leave it there before I go on a rant, which nobody needs. I don't want to be yeeted. I don't want to be yeeted, and I don't want to be a meme. It could happen. It could happen. If you've had experiences with the paranormal or supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And the link to the article will be in the description box. And you all can go and read it and correctly pronounce the Japanese.
yes.
It's a beautiful language. I just, like I said, I am mountain.
Yes.
Some things we are not designed to speak.
Yeah. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good.
Know that you're loved.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to believe in things. Don't be afraid to, don't let people shut down your thought process. Have an imagination.
Believe.
Absolutely. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next
Everybody
show.
needs a little bit of imagination.
Sure they do.
Imagination.
Absolutely.
Get a box.
Absolutely.
I'm playing with a box right now. Well, not right now, but I got a box in
Boxes
my
are great
room.
toys. Yeah.
I got a giant box in my room.
And it could become anything that you want it to be.
It's becoming something.
Okay.
Coming in landscape.
Okay. Cool beans.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
I'm good now. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye.